Life has phases that invite us to pause, take a deep breath, and look inside ourselves. Sometimes this pause doesn't come by choice. It comes out of necessity, and often it happens exactly when we're most used to routine, to roles fulfilled, to responsibilities carried out. That's when something within us seems to say, it's time to take care of yourself. Not the way the world expects, but the way your soul asks for. At 50, at 60, every decade brings a new opportunity to begin again, to renew, to reconnect with your body, with your spirit, with your purpose. And perhaps this is the greatest journey of maturity, learning how to live with lightness, wisdom, and renewed energy. Many people reach this stage of life feeling worn down, physically tired, emotionally overwhelmed, spiritually distant. But this feeling doesn't have to be permanent. It may simply be a gentle warning sign saying it's time to rethink some habits, revisit some priorities, and invest in yourself. Because rejuvenation isn't about going back in time. It's about rediscovering the vitality that still lives inside you. It may be dormant, but it certainly still exists. The question is how to awaken it, how to reignite that flame that gives meaning to life, even after so many losses, so many changes, so many transitions. We begin with physical health, because it is the foundation that supports everything else. The body changes over time. That's natural. Muscles become less flexible, joints ache more, sleep becomes lighter. But that doesn't mean we must accept passivity as part of aging. On the contrary, it's precisely at this moment that we should double our care. Small movements make a big difference. Morning stretches, daily walks, balanced eating. These simple gestures keep the body active and healthy. Moving every day isn't a luxury, it's self-care. Eating consciously isn't a trend, it's respect. Sleeping well isn't laziness, it's restoration. Every choice matters, and each one affects not only your body, but also your mind and soul. But physical health alone isn't enough. If the heart feels heavy, if the mind feels scattered, if the soul feels silent, the body will feel that imbalance. Motivation arises from the connection between what we do and what we feel. Losing enthusiasm for life isn't an inevitable consequence of age. Often, it's a signal that we've lost touch with our purpose, with what moves us, inspires us, gives us reasons to keep going. Rediscovering motivation can start with simple yet profound questions. What makes me happy? What makes me feel useful? What do I still want to learn? What can I teach? These questions open space for new possibilities, new projects, new ways to contribute. And when we find a new sense of meaning, energy begins to flow once again. Spirituality completes this cycle. We're not necessarily talking about religion, but about connection with something greater than ourselves, with nature, with the universe, with existence itself. Often, deep fatigue doesn't come from the body or even the mind, but from the soul. It's a kind of weariness that has no medical explanation, but manifests as apathy, lack of drive, a feeling of emptiness. This is where cultivating moments of silence, meditation, or prayer becomes essential. Spaces where we can hear our own inner voice, where we can remember who we are beyond social functions and other people's expectations. Reconnecting with spirituality isn't about escaping reality. It's about finding strength to live it with clarity, peace, and purpose. Real stories help us understand this better. Meet Carlos, 63 years old. After retiring, he felt lost. He worked his whole life at a company, held important positions, was known and valued. But when he left work, he felt like he had lost his identity. He began to isolate himself, losing his motivation, until he decided to return to an old hobby, writing. He started with short essays, then created a blog, and now shares stories and reflections with hundreds of readers. He says, I discovered that my story didn't end. It was just waiting for me to realize there were more chapters to write. Stories like this are more common than we imagine. They are proof that even after decades of life, there is still room for growth, transformation, and personal discovery. And how to apply this into daily life. How to build a routine that includes health, motivation, and spirituality. It doesn't need to be complicated or long. Small daily actions can have profound impacts. Start with the morning. Take a few minutes before getting out of bed to breathe consciously, thank yourself for the new day, and set a positive intention. During the day, take small breaks to stretch, drink water, take short walks. At night, take time to reflect on the day, write down 3 things you were grateful for. These simple habits begin to create a new mental and physical structure, allowing you to live with more lightness, energy, and presence. It's also important to maintain meaningful relationships. Friendships change over time, as do our family connections. But cultivating affectionate bonds, even if in smaller numbers, is essential for emotional and spiritual well-being. Having someone to talk to, share feelings with, exchange stories, all of this makes a huge difference. It could be an old friend, a neighbor, or a close relative. The important thing is to feel connected. Participating in community groups, volunteer activities, or cultural events also helps keep the mind active and the heart warm. And what about self-care? It is central. Over the years, we often learn to put others first, caring for children, parents, partners, and work. But what about ourselves? When was the last time you did something just for yourself? Took real attention to yourself? Self-care isn't selfishness, it's love in action. It can be as simple as taking a relaxing bath, reading a good book, listening to favorite music, or cooking something special. Small actions that reconnect us with the joy of existing. The mind also needs care. Keeping memory active, logical reasoning sharp, and focus clear is possible with regular mental exercises. Reading, board games, learning new languages or skills. All of this stimulates the brain and strengthens cognitive health. In addition, seeking reliable information about health and well-being helps combat myths and unnecessary fears, allowing us to make more conscious decisions about our bodies and lives. And how to deal with loss, because it is part of life. Friends leave, relatives pass away, relationships change, and each departure leaves a void. But that emptiness can be transformed into space for new connections, new experiences, new meanings. Grief is necessary, but it doesn't have to be definitive. There is strength in moving forward, even while carrying cherished memories. And there is beauty in rebuilding, even after so many challenges. Faith, in whatever form it takes, is another fundamental pillar. Believing in something greater than ourselves gives us security, comfort, and perspective. Whether through religion, nature, art, or science, believing there is a larger plan, a higher purpose, helps us face difficult times with courage. Faith isn't denying difficulties, it's facing them with hope. And how to find inspiration. It's everywhere. In a chance phrase, in a casual encounter, in a song or poem. Inspiration is what touches us, moves us, makes us think differently. And it is especially important in this phase of life, where the risk of stagnation is greater. Being inspired by real stories, by people who reinvented their paths, by artists, writers, thinkers. All of this opens space for new possibilities. And how to deal with self-esteem. With time, the body changes, hair turns white, wrinkles increase. But beauty does not disappear. It transforms. It reflects accumulated wisdom, lived lessons, scars overcome. Looking in the mirror and seeing not only what changed, but everything that remained strong is an exercise in self-love. Care for yourself with kindness. Wear what makes you feel good. Smile at yourself. You deserve it. Freedom is also an achievement of this phase. Let go of what no longer serves you. Emotional burdens, unnecessary obligations, useless comparisons. This isn't selfishness. It's maturity. It's knowing how to recognize what really matters and focus on it. And what matters is often simple, living with dignity, joy, and purpose. And how to plan for the future. Not with fear, but with curiosity. The future is not a threat, it's a promise of new opportunities, new discoveries, new ways to live. Planning doesn't mean controlling everything, but opening space for what is yet to come. Traveling, studying, meeting new people, learning something new. The future is an invitation. Accept it with courage. And how to celebrate life. Celebrating isn't just parties and gifts. It's recognizing the value of each day, of every laugh, every hug, every sunrise. It's looking back and seeing how much you've already overcome. It's looking ahead and seeing how much you still have to live. Celebrate with gratitude, celebrate with joy, celebrate with presence. And how to find balance between all of this. Because uniting health, motivation, and spirituality isn't easy. It requires consistency, patience, and self-awareness. But it's possible. Just start. Start with small daily actions. Start with the decision to take care of yourself. Start with the certainty that it's never too late to begin again. And finally, how to leave a legacy. Not just material, but emotional. What example will you leave behind? What kind of impact do you want to have on people's lives? Legacy isn't only what you did, it's how you lived, with love, integrity, generosity, and that has no age. It only requires choice. So take a deep breath, look ahead, and know it's possible. You deserve it. You can. You will. If you made it this far, chances are something inside you just shifted, a spark of hope, a renewed sense of purpose, or maybe just the reminder you needed today. And that's beautiful. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you'll never miss a new video. We'll keep bringing you content focused on health, motivation, and spirituality. Topics that matter deeply in this stage of life. Share this video with someone who might need to hear these words today. A friend, a loved one, a neighbor, someone who's going through a transition, searching for meaning, or simply needing a little emotional boost. And if you'd like to join the conversation, leave a comment below. Tell us, what was the first step you took today toward your renewal? What recently inspired you? Your story might inspire many others too. See you in the next episode. And remember, you have strength, you have wisdom, you have time.